nation's worst mass murder cases.
Personally, I've noticed the smell for about 6 to 8 months.
When you went into the apartment, did you smell an odor?
It stunk.
What did it smell like?
Rotten meat.
And you noticed it, and he said he had a problem with his freezer?
Yep, with his freezer.
The doctor came in the morning. She held my hand and asked, was it worth it? Could it be worse than this? Please recall. Give me a hint. Anything will do. If this was the last time, now you should tell us what to do. I was so afraid, I guess. Now I can't think no more. I was so concentrated on keeping things together. I learned to focus on. I didn't want to disappoint. Now where is everybody? Is it still light outside?
What shocks me is, to know somebody that, he seemed a quiet, nice person, and he turned around and this happened.
He had massive amounts of blood on him many, many times when he returned from different places. So, I've actually seen this guy pull his clothes off and have to peel his T-shirt off and his clothing. It was dried onto his skin. He'd been out for a while, a couple of days, 3 days. When he came back, he went to Oktoberfest in Munich. And when he came back from that, he was just a bloody mess.
So let's build the case for a different Jeffrey Dahmer, one that was probably killing throughout his adult life. Because the official story right now is that there was about an 8-year period of dormancy, I believe, where he hadn't killed anyone. However, there were several unsolved murders around the barracks.
From my understanding, there was probably about, 5, 6, 7, about 8, I think, that I know. 8. I think there's more, isn't there?
Well, I think he's asking you around the barracks, which you know more than I do. I know that there was maybe a dozen murders maybe within 50 kilometer radius of Baumholder, Germany, which is where the base was. While he was there, that didn't happen before and didn't happen afterwards. And Germany was in 1981 was not like Miami in 1981, because that was just like a bad week in Miami, or maybe not even a bad week. But in Germany's 200 to 300 murders a year, and then you had not very well publicized what may have been a series of murders. It may not have been a series, but it may well have been a series. And there were women in there. There were mostly women. They weren't exclusively. When Bill talks about blood on this man's shirt, and then on the knives, and there's more than one knife, he said, there was blood and there was mucus on the knives, and that, Bill, you told me that you throw those knives out the window and then he'd replace them.
That's
and then
right.
It would happen again.
Every time. Yes.
We think that there was, certainly we don't believe Jeffrey Dahmer was a liar while he was at large, an extremely good manipulator. Would you agree with that? Bill?
Oh yes, very much.
And then somehow we collectively wanted to believe that when he was caught and in police custody and was being tried for the murders that he admitted to, that he suddenly turned into a truth teller. And that, to me, is a big disconnect. When Jeff denied killing the girls, anybody in Germany, they went, okay, well, what are we going to do? If he was going to admit to it, that would be great. But since he's not admitting to it, that's pretty much the end of it. And then they went and saw Billy. I think now the answer to your question is it's possible.
Billy, did you ever see Dahmer meeting with anyone, privately meeting with anyone, or?
Well, there was some guys with suits that came to the room, but I don't really know who they are. I'm thinking they were probably, not German, but American CID. Now, I was told by a guy who's deceased now, I won't mention his name. He said that they were investigating Jeff for a murder of a man named Hans. The military knew that there was a problem even when I got there. No one wanted to room with Jeff, and I don't know what to think about it. I really was afraid to say anything. They talked to him. I went outside, the room and stuff like that, and then they left. That was pretty much it. They had suits on. I don't know what they were talking about, but I'm pretty convinced that it was probably about the murder of Hans. He was last seen with Jeff. He left the barracks with Jeff right before I got there, and he was found mutilated, probably 20 kilometers from the barracks.
Change subject slightly here. I'm interested in whether you think there's any connection between Joe Dressler, the accused killer of Madden, and Dahmer. And can you verify, or has your department verified, that Dressler did work on the elevator in Dahmer's apartment 2 different times while Dahmer was living there? Secondly, do you think there was contact between the men thirdly, do you think there's any connection?
We have had no confirmation nor any indication that there's been a connection.